Back in 2017, I made a video called Are There Any Good Cheap Vinyl Records Left?, in which I demonstrated a bunch of vinyl records I found at the thrift store for $1 each. Unfortunately, since then we've not only had inflation, where prices have gone up, but also shrinkflation, where the size of what you get for your money has gone down. So this time, instead of full 12-inch vinyl record albums, I have a bunch of 7-inch 45 RPM singles, and I paid $1.49 for them instead of $1 each. But before I get to those, I do briefly want to show these two LP albums I got at the thrift store a while back. Not for $1.49 each, I paid more for these. But these are albums you don't normally find on vinyl because they're from the early 1990s when most record stores had stopped selling vinyl records. So on the back of them, they both have this message saying this album, previously available on compact disc and cassette only, is now available in this record version as a special service to Columbia House members. So this is from a time when you couldn't normally get these albums on vinyl except for special releases such as through the Columbia House service. But these 45s I got are mostly from the mid-1980s when you definitely could still find these in stores, and what attracted me to these is that not only were there a large collection of them, and they're all in picture sleeves. There were others there that were not in picture sleeves, but I mostly focused on these. And I believe they all came from the same original owner, as we'll see. The first is Corey Hart with Never Surrender, a #1 hit for him from 1985. And the special thing about this is, it's not just an ordinary picture sleeve where you just get the front and back, because this unfolds into a poster. You get some pictures there, and then you can unfold it again. You get the lyrics, and then you can unfold it even more into a full-sized poster. So there it is, the full-sized poster of Corey Hart in that 45 sleeve. And there is the record itself, a little bit dusty, but otherwise in good condition. The B-side is Water from the Moon. You're right to fight and to never surrender, to never surrender. Next is the Moody Blues with The Other Side of Life. This was the follow-up to their big comeback hit, Your Wildest Dreams. Unfortunately, this one didn't do so well. It only reached number 58 on the chart in 1986, but the special thing about this is that it is a limited edition special blue vinyl. So it's on this really neat transparent blue vinyl. So there it is. The B-side is The Spirit. The lovers and the fighters and the risk they take are on the other side of life tonight. Next is Rick Ocasek with Emotion in Motion. Of course, he was in the Cars, and this was his one solo hit. It reached number 15 in 1986. And the B-side is PFJ. Your emotion in motion to me. And notice on the back it says available on the album, cassette, and compact disc. Yeah, back then they didn't call vinyl records, they just called them albums. And here is Boy Meets Girl with Waiting for a Star to Fall, a #5 hit in 1988, and I actually heard this on the background music in a supermarket the same day. A few hours later I found this in the thrift store. And this is technically not a one-hit wonder because back in 1985 they had one other song which just barely squeaked into the top 40 at number 39. But this was their big hit, and the B-side is No Apologies. And here is Sting with Fortress Around Your Heart. Fun fact, this is the only song to ever become a hit in the US with the word fortress in its title. This was a #8 hit in 1985. And the B-side is Consider Me Gone, the live version. And there it is. Notice here it says Linda Adams was the original owner of this record. Unfortunately, this was pressed on styrene instead of vinyl because you can actually peel at the edge of the label, and also if you tap on it, it kind of rings. Here in the US, most radio DJs would call this group double, as if they were French, and some would just say double, but it's actually supposed to be pronounced double.
Is it double or double?
It's double.
Double.
And this was their only hit. It reached number 16 in 1986, The Captain of Her Heart. And the B-side is Your Prayer Takes Me Off Part 2 dub. And there it is.
Too long apart, she couldn't wait another day for the captain of her heart.
And this is also on styrene. I'm pretty sure all of A&M's 45s were styrene. And another way you can tell is that the label's bubbling up, because with styrene 45s, the label is just glued on. It's not actually pressed into the record material like it is with vinyl records. And here again are the Moody Blues. It's unfortunately covered up by the price sticker, but this was their big comeback hit, which I mentioned previously, Your Wildest Dreams. It reached number 9 in 1986. And the B-side is Talkin' Talkin', also originally owned by Linda Adams.
Wonder if you think about it once upon a time in your wildest dream.
Next is Bruce Hornsby and the Range with Mandolin Rain, a number 4 hit for them in 1987. And the B-side is The Red Plains. And the special thing about this 45 is that it's a special edited version that has never been released on CD. You can only get it on the original 45.
Listen to the mandolin rain. Listen to the music on the rain. I'll listen to my heart break.
And you can really tell by the bubbling there that this is a styrene 45. And here is Howard Jones with No One Is to Blame, featuring Phil Collins on drums and backing vocals. It's backed with, that's what B/W stands for, backed with the B-side, The Chase, which was previously unavailable. This was a number 4 hit in 1986. And you could join the Howard Jones fan club by sending a self-addressed envelope with an international reply coupon to England. Unfortunately not anymore because those coupons were discontinued in 2013. And you guessed it, this was also originally owned by Linda Adams. And it's thankfully on a vinyl 45 instead of styrene.
No one ever is to blame.
And here is Corey Hart again, and isn't that just Helvetica Italic? This is his number 18 hit from 1986, I Am By Your Side. And the B-side is, let's see, Political Cry. And yes, this is on vinyl. And here is Andy Taylor, a former member of Duran Duran. This was his only solo hit to reach the top 40, Take It Easy, which reached number 24 in 1986. And the B-side is Angel Eyes, but despite what you may think, these songs have no relation to the song by the Eagles or the song by the Jeff Healey Band. And once again, this was originally owned by Linda Adams. And it's on a vinyl 45 by Atlantic.
Take it easy on yourself, take it easy. There ain't no one else.
Next is an artist I hadn't heard of before, Charlie Sexton, Beats So Lonely. This was a one-hit wonder, and it reached number 17 back in 1986 when he was only 17. He's best known for being a guitarist in Bob Dylan's band. And again, previously owned by Linda Adams. Here you can see. And the B-side is Attractions. Another artist I hadn't heard of before, but Linda Adams did because this was her record, Chris Eaton. He is a contemporary Christian artist. This is from 1986. It's The Golden Rule, backed with Talk to Me. This was not a hit, at least not on the pop chart. And the interesting thing is this is a promotional copy, not for sale. So I wonder if Linda worked for a radio station or something. Unfortunately, that's such a common name that it's impossible to try to track down. And of course, she may have gotten married and changed her name. Next is Don Johnson. Yes, the actor Don Johnson. And he had a number 5 hit in 1986 with Heartbeat. And the B-side is Can't Take Your Memory. Also owned by Linda Adams. And this is another Styrene 45. And here is El DeBarge. He was in the family group DeBarge. Think of them like a less dysfunctional version of the Jackson family. And he had a number 3 hit on his own in 1986 with Who's Johnny? And El is not the Spanish word for the, it's short for his given name, Eldra. And this was from the movie Short Circuit, also owned by Linda Adams. The B-side is Love in a Special Way, and this is a vinyl 45.
Who's Johnny? She said, and smiled in her special way. Johnny, she said, you know I love you.
Speaking of actors who became singers, Gloria Loring was on the soap opera Days of Our Lives, and she recorded this song Friends and Lovers with Carl Anderson, and they performed it on the show, and then they released it as a single, and it became a number 2 hit in 1986. And the B-side is You Always Knew by Gloria on her own. Also originally owned by Linda Adams. And this is unfortunately another Styrene 45.
And I'll be your lover.
Next is the group Loverboy with their number 10 hit from 1986, This Could Be the Night. And the B-side is It's Your Life. And this is another Styrene 45. All of Columbia's 45s with this orange and yellow label were styrene instead of vinyl.
This could be the night to remember. We'll make it last.
Next is Emerson, Lake and Powell. They were better known as Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but they briefly reformed in the mid-1980s with a different drummer. And this was the only hit of that incarnation, Touch and Go. It was a number 60 hit in 1986, so it didn't even reach the top 40, so not quite that successful. And the B-side is Learning to Fly, and also owned by Linda. And this is a vinyl 45.
No salvation, 20 below. You're running with the devil, it's touch and go.
Everybody should know this song, Amanda by Boston, a number 1 hit in 1986. The B-side of this was My Destination.
I'm gonna take you by surprise and make you realize, Amanda.
Here is Julian Lennon with Stick Around, a number 32 hit from him in 1986. The B-side is You Always Think Twice. Actually, just always think twice. Not just you, everybody always think twice. And apparently Linda did because she bought this record.
If you disappear, then nothing will be clear.
And once again, we have Corey Hart. I guess he was Linda's heartthrob. And this is Boy in the Box. It was a number 26 hit in 1985. And the B-side is a song called Silent Talking. And yes, this definitely was also owned by Linda. And actually, this is the first record of the bunch I've seen so far with visible scratches in it, so I guess she must have played this one more than the rest. Next is The Cutting Crew with I've Been in Love Before. This was the follow-up to their big hit I Just Died in Your Arms. And this one was a number 9 hit in 1987. And the B-side is Life in a Dangerous Time. And it's a vinyl 45.
I've been in love before. I've been in love before.
We're getting down to the last few. This one is Billy Ocean with There'll Be Sad Songs to Make You Cry, a number 1 hit in 1986. The B-side is If I Should Lose You. And we're all glad that Linda didn't lose this record.
There'll be sad songs to make you cry. Love songs often do.
Here is Neil Diamond with Headed for the Future. This was his attempt to update his sound for the 1980s, and unfortunately it didn't work out too well because it only reached number 53 on the chart in 1986. And the B-side is a song called Angel. It's on one of these crappy Columbia Styrene 45s.
Say we're headed for the future. Give us some time.
Here's one more artist I hadn't heard of before, John Eddy. His main claim to fame was singing backup vocals for Bryan Adams, and he also occasionally performed with Bruce Springsteen. This was his only hit, Jungle Boy, which reached number 52 in 1986. So another one that missed the top 40. And the B-side of Jungle Boy is a song called Mary's Ghost, another crappy Styrene 45 from Columbia.
I'm a jungle boy. Turn up the radio, jungle boy. Hear me growling low, jungle boy.
And finally, Dennis DeYoung. He was one of the founding members of Styx. And if you've seen the Train Records video by Todd in the Shadows, you know that he also led to the unfounding of Styx when the rest of the group had disagreements with his creative vision for their final album together.
The album killed the career of Styx in the most direct way possible. It broke up the band.
Then he went on to a solo career, and this song, Call Me, no relation to the Blondie song, was a number 54 hit in 1986, so another one that didn't do too well. And the B-side is called Please. And this is another Styrene 45 by A&M.
Oh, you can call me, baby, if you ever change your mind.
So, are there still any good cheap records left in 2025? I'd say yes, as long as you don't mind getting the 7-inch 45 RPM singles instead of full 12-inch LP albums, because I got about 25 of them for $1.49 each, and if you add that up, that's about the same price as what you pay today for one new LP album on vinyl. So I don't think that's too bad of a deal.